Welcome to Money Talk with Tiff, a podcast where we discuss everything money from tips and tricks to current events. Follow me on my journey to become debt-free and meet other cool people along the way. I am your host, Tiffany Grant. Now let's talk money. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Money Talk with Tiff podcast. Today I have Melody Johnson on the line. Now, Melody is one of my good friends, and I actually just created a course with one of her proteges, and it is amazing. But Melody helps content creators and small business owners scale their business with online courses and curriculum design. With over 5 years experience in corporate training and education, she also has her master's degree in instructional design. She specializes in course development strategy, including course outlining, creating micro offers, building landing pages, copywriting, and creating sales webinars for new course creators. Hey, Melody, I'm glad to have you on.
Hey, I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so glad to have you on. We talk a lot off the record about a lot of different things, but I know as part of your journey, like you are a course phenomenon. Like you are extremely awesome when it comes to building courses for entrepreneurs. And so how did you get into this line of work? Like what made you say, you know what, I want to help people build their courses?
Yeah. So as some of your listeners might not know, I met you at FinCon back in, I think it was 2019, was it? I think
so.
Yeah. So going back to the story of how I got started, I have always had a love for teaching. I was one of those kids that had the desire to have a whole bunch of like different types of toys around, and I would pretend to teach to the little toys. And I really loved playing teacher growing up. And I knew that I wanted to be a teacher, but my path towards in my career didn't always flow in that direction. I decided to have a career in customer service. I did sales, and then eventually I landed in a position for training and development, which eventually led me to discover my love for instructional design. And so as an instructional designer, basically my role in corporate training was to really understand what the students really needed to learn, especially in corporate training. When you're dealing with employees, you have to be able to understand what is the knowledge gap and how do you actually prepare a curriculum to help them learn so that you can increase productivity. And while I was working in my job, I started really doing some freelancing on the side. I started doing small jobs here and there on Upwork. And I found that people were really interested and they needed help putting together all the materials, actually promoting their courses. And I saw that there was a real gap in the marketplace because of the fact that there wasn't really something out there of the sense that you could have somebody both help you build the course and also help you market as well. And so as I started to explore this role, I started to take on more and more freelancing jobs. I started to look for jobs on Upwork. I was starting to network on Facebook, and more people were booking me. And it got to the point where I started to realize, you know what? I really should take this a lot more seriously. This side hustle that I have, it's bringing in money, but I really just want to take it to the next level. So I had a complete pivot because at the time I had 2 different side hustles, and this was one of those side hustles. I was working full time. I was completing my master's degree, and I was really, really busy. Yeah. So I decided to really just start the process of creating a business. And as I started to transition to that business, I started to see more revenue coming in. So I started with the side hustle of maybe $50. I think that was my first gig. It was a $50 gig, and then 200, then 500, then 1,000, then 2,000, then 3,000. And eventually I got to the point where I quit my job and I shifted doing freelancing full time. And the gigs that I were getting were so, dense in terms of the work. Like there was a lot of work. I hired a team, and then I transitioned into an agency model where I was making $20,000 a month. And it was really a crazy growth in my business. And eventually I decided that I wanted to shift more into online courses for myself. So that's the journey of what I have been doing over the last year and a half. And it's been an incredible process for me. And I'm so excited to be in this space. So I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely. And there's so many things that I want to hit on, but I think the most important thing from that whole story is that you took your day job. So, like something that you were getting paid to do, your full time job, and you went and you started freelancing doing that exact same thing. Like, I think a lot of people miss that part and miss that opportunity. They do their day job and they're thinking, oh, I need to find a side hustle doing something completely different. When sometimes you can do the exact same thing and make some extra money as a freelancer. So I think that was important to highlight as well. And as someone with a background in HR, training and development is so critical. Oh my gosh, it's so critical because like you said, you have to find the knowledge gaps. And then once people are able to perform, because sometimes it may be that they don't know a certain process or they don't know exactly how to do something. And if you can fill that knowledge gap, their productivity skyrockets. So I used to love the training and development team, and I used to bug them all the time for like new material and things like that. But it is a crucial part of the process when it comes to developing employees and then also developing your audience, right? So let's get a little bit into, when you had the agency, right? So what made you decide that, okay, I'm gonna let this agency go that was making like $20,000 a month, and I'm just gonna focus on me, and I'm gonna do courses that highlight me and my brand. What went into, because I know my audience wants to ask this question, so that's why
I think for me, one of the biggest things that I find is it's so important to lead your business based off of your values. And I feel like sometimes I just want to shout online on my social media and just say, hustle culture isn't always what you thought it was going to be, right? So many times we're focused on results in our business and growth and more revenue. And I think that that's great because obviously we want our business to be profitable, because in the reality, you need to have revenue coming in so you can sustain yourself, you can sustain your family. What I wanted to do when I switched from the agency model back to more of a consulting role was that I wanted to be able to help people grow their business without having to feel like I was going to do the work for them. Because what I found was, even when I was booking really large projects, like $30,000 projects or more, I was finding that those people, they weren't invested in learning the skills to succeed. And I say that because yes, there is a model for your business where you're going to have people say, I just want you to do it all for me. Can you just do it all for me? And that is completely fine. There is definitely a market for that. And I've made a lot of money in my business with helping people in that fashion. However, there is a sense of responsibility. There's a sense of dedication that other folks who maybe they don't want you to do everything for themselves. They want you to teach them how to actually go through the steps with them, or you know what? You want someone to show you the way and they can do it all themselves without all of your help, right? So when I actually saw the most growth and the most excitement, I felt that I was making a bigger impact on more people by transitioning my business into the model that I have currently, which is helping people with done with you types of strategies like group coaching programs, courses, and mentorship, and also do it yourself or DIY options. So really there's three branches that I have: a DIY option where people can buy off of your website with a course, a done with you option where people can really work with me closely in a structured fashion, and then a do it for you. But I don't really have the whole agency model still running because I feel that it is a greater impact on people as a whole and I can reach more people and I can make that kind of support system available on a scaled version. Whereas before, I was focused just on managing my team, getting the deliverables out. I did not have the time that I was able to do by creating the courses because I was so focused on the deliverables. But I do think that, and by deliverables, I mean the project deadlines, working with my project manager, working with my team. And it was great. You know, I loved it. I learned a lot. But I think that's really where I came down to is how can I create more impact with people? How can I really support people's growth? And the answer to me was, I cannot do it in this model. In my own personal experience, the model that I'm in right now is really going to make that shift for me. And I have also more time with my family. I can really have more flexibility without having those really large scale projects. So that's the shift for me.
Absolutely. And that is so important too. I'm so glad that you realized that and didn't continue to like run yourself into the ground, not feel fulfilled, and things of that nature, because I kind of went through the same thing. You know, I used to have people reaching out to me like, hey, Tiffany, can I just give you my paycheck and then you just give me a stipend to spend and pay all my bills and all of that? And I'm just like, no, that's not what I do. I'd rather teach you, how to manage your money correctly, because I always give my clients the analogy. What if I get hit by a proverbial bus, right, tomorrow? I want you to be able to just pick up and go. Like, of course, you might be like, oh, Tiffany, she's gone too soon. But at the end of the day, your money is still going to be your money. And so if I can teach you how to manage it properly versus doing it for you, then I feel for me, that's more fulfillment. And then also I feel that I'm doing a better work than just doing it for you. So I've ran into that same scenario that you're talking about, where it's just better if we teach people versus the do it for you method. Now, not saying that there's not people that would love to do it for you. That's a whole different model, but like you said, you have to run your business based on your principles. And so that's kind of where we're both landing. So I love that you said that. Now, before we hopped on, you did mention how you paid off all of your student loans and, how that helped you get started in your business and, go forth and prosper. If you can just get a little bit into that, like why is that the case?
Yeah. So one thing that I found in my journey with money is that money can definitely help you reach a lot of your goals. Money isn't everything, but it is definitely a tool. And so when I was working in corporate, I had a goal of paying off all my student loans. And for a long time after college, I was just swimming in debt. I had $65,000 in student loan debt. Some people have more, some people have less. But I felt like for a long time, that was this ball and chain, and I was connected with it. And every time I got paid, I put as much money as I feasibly could towards that debt. And over time, I was able to pay it off. And every time I paid it, especially closer to the end, I was making, a few thousand here, a few thousand there, and I would just funnel as much as possible towards this debt. And it was hard because I just thought to myself, logically, okay, I could, if I wanted to, just use that money for other things like a new laptop or a really awesome trip, because at the time this was pre-COVID. And it was so painful to see that money go. But that moment when I paid everything off, I just instantly felt so much lighter. I felt like I was walking on air. It was amazing. I felt like I could do anything. And the world was now open to me because I was no more shackled to this debt. So that freedom that I felt, that excitement that I felt, that helped me realize, you know what? Now that I'm not shackled to this debt, now that I'm not tied to all of this obligation every month, what could I do with an extra $1,000? What could I do with an extra $2,000? And maybe for some people who are listening, you're thinking, oh, wow, that's the $1,000 really great. But you might not notice that, 300 here, 400 there, 500 each month. That stuff adds up. And you could be putting that money towards your dream fund. And that dream fund for me, it was being able to say, you know what? I paid off all my debt. I can turn in my resignation letter. That was exciting for me because I knew that we had a great savings account set aside. My husband had a job and, I had put money into our savings. So it wasn't just that I was relying on someone else's income. Like I had saved money on my own. And so that really helped me to know that I had the option to go into full time with my business. And that really made me feel confident that even when I was still starting and I didn't have as much revenue coming in, I could still sustain the business. And so that really helped me grow as a person and as a business owner, really just having that money set aside.
Absolutely. And, I'm so glad you said that too. You're dropping so many gems this morning. I don't even have to do much talking. But, I tell people all the time, once you get control of your money, the skies just feel like they open up for you, right? So like, for instance, with my situation, once I got control of my money, I was able to figure out, okay, if I save up X amount of dollars, I'll be able to quit my job. If I paid down X amount of debt, I'll be able to quit my job. Same situation as you. And it takes away the fuzziness. You know what I mean? So, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I have to keep this job because this is how I'm surviving and this, that, and the other. But when you start managing your money, you realize, I can do something different. It kind of opens up the possibilities, if that makes sense. So I'm so glad that you shared that story with us because it's so important for people to understand. Once you control your money, you control your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, quote that. That's going to be a hashtag later. Control your money, control your life. And so, it's imperative to get this stuff under control. So that way the money is not controlling you. And that's usually what happens when people are working in jobs where they're miserable. The money's controlling them. The money's controlling their life. But once you get it under control, then you control your own life and you control your own destiny. And so I'm so glad you said that. That was a word this Saturday morning because it's so important for people to realize that. So speaking of, business and next steps, I know that you have a new program coming up that I'm pretty excited for, and that's the 3-month course Impact Mastermind. So if you can tell us a little bit about what that is, because I have a lot of entrepreneurs that listen to this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I first started making courses, I really believed that there are 3 important things every successful course creator has. That's a unique solution to a problem for their audience, a powerful program that actually gets their students success and results, and number 3 is unique messaging. So when it comes to creating an online course that will really drive revenue, will help your students grow, and will keep you fulfilled and make an impact in your own life and in the lives of your students, I actually have this 3-month program to help support the people who are really trying to take their courses to the next level into a group coaching program or a signature course. And so in the 3-month program, we focus on those 3 pillars. And it's 12 weeks of high touch support where I work with the group together in weekly calls, co-working, and I have access to 3 powerful courses, which I'm continuing to refine, that help you really focus on 1, creating an impactful program, 2, identifying the unique solutions that you have, and then 3, pinpointing that into unique messaging, including emails, content marketing, sales pages, and so much more. And so I'm very excited about the Course Impact Mastermind, which is going to be launching later in April. But I know that whenever this airs, there's going to be lots of other things that I do. So if you're ever interested, for any listeners out there, I have tons of free resources on my website. And so I would love for anyone to check me out. I'm at courseconsultant.com. I have a show on my podcast episode called The Course Consultant Show. Tiff, I'm going to have you on soon.
Yes.
So it's going to be so much fun. And I'm really, really excited about this program.
I am so excited about this program because I would love to sign up, because that's kind of where I'm trying to go with my business, is focus on group coaching. Right now I offer individual coaching. I offer now a new course because of you. And and now I just want to, move into group coaching, because I feel like when there's community, a lot of people do better with sticking to, the program and things that work. Take for instance, like Dave Ramsey's program, right? He has the in-person group thing. I mean, I don't know if he does it now because of COVID, but, the in-person group thing, and it helps people get along a little better. And like, even right now, I'm taking my AFC, I'm studying for my AFC certification, and we're doing it as a group thing. And I can say it has helped me stay focused tremendously. So the group coaching model works. Yeah. And I'm so glad that you are putting this resource out there for everyone. I know that I will be taking advantage of it. Now, Melody, if people wanted to find you other than your website, where can they find you if they have any further questions?
Yeah, so I am on Instagram a lot, and I'm at The Course Consultant. I do a lot of fun reels and videos, and I'm really getting into this whole online video space, even though I've been against it for a long time. I'm like, no, I don't want to go on camera, but now I'm embracing it. It's fun. And I have a free group called the Inspired Courses group. And that is on Facebook. You can find me at facebook.com/group/inspired courses. So I'm in those groups, and I'd love to see anyone who's interested over there, because I have lots of fun free trainings.
Yes, she does, because I am part of that group, and there's so many gems in there that are being dropped on a daily basis. So please check it out. If you are interested in courses, or you have some courses and feel like they can use a re-sprucing, go ahead and check out Melody. So thank you so much, Melody. You are awesome. I've always been a fan, and I'm so glad you decided to come on the show today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for listening to the Money Talk with Tiff podcast. For free resources and materials, head over to moneytalkwitht.com. And while you're there, why not sign up for our newsletter so you'll never miss an episode? Talk to you soon.